On this day, Nintendo has closed the Wii U and 3DS eShops, and you might be wondering why I'm making this video. I mean, nothing lasts forever, so why does it matter so much? And that's because these were the last consoles to have proper virtual console, as of right now. Instead of being able to buy a retro game that was on the SNES for like $5, you have to instead pay a yearly fee of $20, and it isn't even guaranteed you'll be able to play the game you want to play. Now, as much as I would love to talk about why Switch Online as a whole sucks, I'm gonna talk about just the emulators a little bit later. But right now, I want to talk about why the virtual console was just so nice and why it needs to come back. The reason why is it was a simple transaction between Nintendo and the consumer. Just pay $5 or $10 and the game was yours. Not only was it a perfect way to gain more money from their old games, but psychologically the price point was perfect. People will think it's only $5, who cares? And they wouldn't think twice about it because of how cheap it was. Now with this yearly fee of $20, people will be more hesitant to buy this because of the amount, along with it being a subscription. Plus, it was a great way to combat piracy. Why would people go out of the way to some shady website, download a ROM that could have a virus attached to it, and have to set up an emulator when they could just buy and play in seconds? And that's coming from someone who loves emulators, but most people prefer they can just pick up and play. That's why there's a massive community that prefers consoles because of how simple they've gotten. I'm more of a PC guy myself, but I get it. When people come home from a long day of work, they don't want to configure settings, change resolution, set controls, and turn on and off certain settings just to play. And for those people that want that customization, it's there for them to change as much as they please. It's a great system for both types of people. Virtual Console on the Wii U wasn't anything crazy, like all you could do is have a filter on it and change the buttons along with automatically being upscaled to 1080p, but that's all you really need for playing retro games. And going back on piracy, most people I've talked to would rather pay for the game at a reasonable price just to play it. The reason why most people pirate is because either A, the company isn't selling it anymore, or B, they don't want to pay a crazy price to some random fuck on eBay. For example, one of my friends showed me that people are selling Silent Hill 3 on the PS2 for over $100. That isn't even a joke. And the soundtrack, 20, which is insane for a game that came out in 2003, not even mentioning how you could find the soundtrack on YouTube for free. Another example is Metroid Zero Mission GBA. That's going for around $70. Like, when you put it that way, no wonder people pirate these games. And I want to make it clear, I'm not condoning piracy and I'm not giving people a reason to pirate, nor am I saying you should. But seeing these prices, yeah, I don't blame them, especially considering how many could be fakes or counterfeits. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure both these games are great, but no game should be up to that price. It's ridiculous. And now, because of having to pay a subscription, which might I add has less games than the Wii U and 3DS virtual consoles, why would they? And I haven't even touched the expansion pass yet, which has N64 and Sega Genesis games. And do you know what they do? They throw in an extra $30 for this. And do you know how many games are on the N64 Switch Online? You get 21, which I'll admit they did have some banger games like Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, and Banjo-Kazooie, just to name some. And for Genesis, you get 36 games, which is better, and they did add some good games on here as well, like Sonic 2, Rise Star, and Sonic Spinball, but this is not worth it to me. Don't get me wrong, these games are good, but they're not that good. And that's not even mentioning how you get Genesis games for $1 on Steam. And hell, you could buy a bundle of 50 Genesis games for $20.
Except Sonic 1 through 3 and CD thanks to Origins.
Although to be fair, they add in widescreen and they have additional content like the challenges along with the coin system, so I give it a pass. But for a subscription service, this is honestly ridiculous. And before people say,
But Ethan, PlayStation and Xbox have $60 subscriptions and they aren't much better.
that isn't even true, because for one, online runs smoothly, 2, they have sales for more recent games and put games up for free, and 3, being able to join parties and talk to friends. For Nintendo subscription service, you get a mediocre online service, NES, SNES, N64, and Sega Genesis games, which in total has less games than the Wii U, 3DS, and the Wii had. Like, it isn't a fair competition. Granted, online has gotten better with Splatoon 3, and Mario Kart 8 online I've had 0 issues with, but primarily Mario Maker 2 and Smash Ultimate are the 2 primary examples that most people bring up. Look, despite what I've said, I think a subscription service like this could work. But for starters, they aren't even close to the amount of games from their previous consoles. Plus, there are still a bunch of games that are missing, like Super Mario RPG, Banjo-Tooie, Sonic 1, Sonic 3D Blast, and so much more. And because of those missing games, that just gives people more of a reason to pirate, despite Nintendo doing everything in their power to stop stuff like this. Nintendo needs to understand that they need to put up a better fight, because honestly, this isn't how you do it. A lot of people mention the idea of using their website to put these games up for sale, which I think would be awesome, or hell, even putting them on Steam. But obviously this isn't going to happen because of how they claim emulators are illegal despite using them for years themselves, along with them only sticking to consoles. But to be honest, this shouldn't have even happened. Like, why fix something that isn't broken? Well, the reason is pretty fucking scummy. So, to wrap up, do I think they'll bring back proper Virtual Console? No. They've realized this is a much better way to gain more money, so why would they? Nintendo has shown how incredibly greedy they've gotten over the past few years, so honestly, I don't see this changing anytime soon. I mean, why would they put in more effort when people are still going to buy this shit? Not really much of a point. But hey, there's always hope. Hey, how you been? I've been doing pretty well myself, just doing the same old stuff. I hope everyone has had a great Valentine's and a great St. Patrick's Day, and, you know, despite all I've said here, I just want to see this company thrive. The reason why I sound so harsh is because I'm so genuinely passionate for this type of stuff. I've been a Nintendo fan for over a decade now, and seeing this company do stuff like this really, really sucks. I just wish that they put more effort into this system, because if that were the case, then I wouldn't have even made this video. To put it simply, if they keep doing this for the rest of their consoles, just put more effort into it. I already mentioned it in the video while editing that I didn't mention Game Boy or GBA on Switch Online, and that's because the audio was recorded in January right after I uploaded the Sonic Frontiers video. By the way, that did really well and is now my 3rd most popular video, and I can't thank you guys enough. That means a lot to me. Same with the Silk Song video, that did really well and is now my most popular video, which I'm so glad about, because the most popular video before was my first video, which I actually hate. But because I didn't think about it direct happening in February, the video became very outdated very quickly, so I thought I'd just finalize my thoughts around the subject one last time, just to make it clear. I think that a system like this could work, but I just want to see Nintendo put more care into it instead of releasing games like once or twice a year. The most ideal would be like once a month with just a couple games, with obviously the main ones people are going to want to see on there first. I think that the Virtual Console was a great way of pleasing this crowd that I'm a part of, and I don't understand why they tried to fix something that wasn't broken. So once again, those are my final thoughts, and if you want to know more about Switch Online's flaws, then I'd suggest looking at this video that Narelle, is that how you pronounce it? Neural? I don't know. Narelle made recently, because it goes more in depth about Switch Online's flaws. Alright, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.